Alright, welcome to another episode of Girl Talk with Jade. I am your host, Jade, and this is a very special episode because as you can see, I am joined with some very dope women. Normally I just have one, but today I got quite a few who are here to join me in talking about sex. And I'm really excited because the conversation is going to get very good. Before we get into it, I'm going to allow them all to introduce themselves. You just say your names, that's it, you don't have to spill all your beans. But we're going to start on this side. And
I'm Camellia.
ooh, sexy voice.
I'm a ladylike behavior.
I'm Sherelle. I'm Keisha. Ty. Tiffany.
Charlotte Jada.
Keisha.
I'm Mia.
And I'm Deshawn.
Yes, well, welcome, ladies. For those of you who may not know what Girl Talk with Jade is, this is a segment that I've added to my podcast where I invite women out. Usually it's just one, and we come out and we talk about sex. It can be different topics. Like my last one was kinks and fetishes. So every episode is something very different. But I wanted to bring more women together to touch on some topics that women struggle with on a daily basis. Young and old women. So I'm really happy to have you guys out. But before we get into it, I have a little icebreaker that we are going to do together. So everybody has two cards in front of them. One says I have and one says I have never. And so you will show your card. As I read the question, you'll show your card and tell us. You don't lie. Alright, y'all ready? Y'all got your cards ready? Okay. Never have I ever used sex to get what I want. Trying to figure it out. Alright, I'm surprised to see people say they never have. Okay. Never have I ever ghosted after sex on the first night.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't know what ghosted means, that means you don't call them back, you're done. I think you called them back. Never have I ever masturbated at work. I love the looks of you.
I didn't think about it.
Okay. You got finished.
It's my best right here.
Yeah,
You're right. My job.
Yeah, you're right. Alright. Never have I ever had sex in a busy public place.
This is the only part I know. I'm so boring.
Well, you know, hey, it's called vanilla.
And some people love it.
You know, very true. Never have I ever said I love you during sex and didn't mean it.
Sorry to this man.
Wait. Right.
Oh, okay.
Never have I ever gotten a condom stuck inside of me.
Okay.
And it was traumatizing.
I can imagine.
3 days later.
Man. I need to have my card. Never have I ever fallen asleep during sex and I wasn't drunk.
Can you read that question again?
Never have I ever fallen asleep during sex and I wasn't drunk.
Oh. I watch y'all.
This is gonna be a good one. Put all your things together. Never have I ever gotten aroused during a pap smear.
Oh.
You'd be surprised. I read some stuff and some women actually do. Alright.
The lighting
What
bulb.
you got?
Right.
Lighting bulb.
Maybe it's not the right person in front of you doing it. Never have I ever faked an orgasm.
Oh.
Hello. But then you advocate for the 10 minutes.
All right. Okay. So that last question takes us right into our first topic. which is orgasms. And so I wanted to tie together orgasm and self-pleasure, masturbation, self-care, whatever you call that alone time that you know, engage in when it's just you and yourself. I wanted to mix the two. And the reason why I wanted us to focus on orgasms is because 1 in 3 women have never experienced one. A lot of times we are really surprised when we hear that a woman in her 30s, her late 20s has never had an orgasm. As many orgasms as women can experience, it's surprising to know that some women who have children and who don't have never experienced orgasms. So my question to you guys, because I know for myself, really quickly before I ask you guys this question, I know for me, although that I've been fucking since, and we cuss, so just so you guys know, although I have been fucking since I was very young, you know, teenager, it wasn't until maybe a few years ago until I actually experienced my first orgasm. Until it was like toe curling, my body was shivering, you know, it was actually something happening in my body. It happened a few years ago, but it took for me to get to know my body, for me to get to that point. And then I realized, well, damn, how many other women are of this age who have never experienced orgasm? But what I want to ask you guys is, when did that relationship for you become serious? The relationship between you and your orgasm. Because not you and just fucking, because a lot of times we're just having sex and we don't necessarily know what we're doing, or we're having sex to please our partner, or we're having sex because we think that this is what we should be doing. But when did you take into your hands your, your orgasm was serious enough for you? So I want to start on this side of the room. Feel free to chime in, but I want everybody to get an opportunity to talk and to share, you know, their journey of, you know, becoming one with their orgasm. So the time. Yep.
I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I had my first orgasm at 17. I was dating a college guy, and he showed me what he did to grown women, and it works.
And it works.
I thought something was wrong with me though, because my whole body got warm, and I was like, what's wrong? He was like, just lay back. Just lay back and take it.
But is that when you feel like you took that seriously? Do you feel like at that point at 17, because you say you didn't know what was happening to your body?
Right, the first time.
Right. So when did you take it seriously? When were you like, you know what? Fuck just fucking.
I would probably
Let me fuck
say,
for myself.
I would probably say around 30.
Okay.
Is when I took it like, yeah, if we're not here to please one another and get it on, like, come on now, we wasting time. So yeah, probably about 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, so I'm thinking about when I got serious with it. I'm 48 years old. So believe it or not, I just got serious December of 2018.
Wow.
So after all these years, I've realized that, and it's funny because going through Instagram, when I got my Instagram account and my daughter was like, no, don't get on Instagram. But I found like this whole entirely different world. And that's how I found you and other women who insist on saying, no, I deserve to have an orgasm, every single time. And then that's when I realized, you know what, I do deserve an orgasm every time I link up, with somebody.
Right.
And so that's when I really got serious about it. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to sell it anymore. I'm not going to fake anymore. I'm not going to just say, okay, well, it's all right, baby,
Right.
next time.
Right.
That's when I really became serious. And I said, well, if you can't give me pleasure, like you said, we both trying to pleasure each other. I shouldn't allow you to treat me as your dumping ground, and then you just go on about your way, and I'm laying up here still hot, horny.
But like I said, you were in your late 40s when this happened.
I was 47.
Okay.
Yes. 47. So that's when I finally realized it. And I was like, I'm going to take this serious from now on and stop allowing men to just take advantage of, them having their pleasure and me not having mine and me selling for that.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. It's loud.
I had my first orgasm at, I guess, somewhere around 22 to 23 years of age.
But is that when you thought you knew what was happening with your body, so you took it seriously, you made sure we went forward.
No.
So that's the question.
Right. So
when
no.
did you take that seriously?
Then it took another 20 years.
Okay.
For
There's
me,
the-
yeah. So it took another 20 years for me to come to the realization that that was an orgasm or what it was, and then make the decision that it's important that every time I engage physically with someone, that's the end result.
I didn't have my first orgasm until I was 31. And then I was like, okay, bitch. Drug.
Right.
And that's when I took it serious. Even when it came like to masturbating, because I started masturbating very
We're gonna
young.
touch on that too.
So even with that, you know, masturbate, okay, good, go ahead. But then it was like, no, bitch, we're about to get it in. Like, me, and me. Like, yeah. So 31 when I had my first orgasm.
Piggybacking on what you said, I was very young when I started masturbating. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just knew something real across. I was like, oh, right. You know, I knew how an orgasm felt with myself, but it was kind of like because for the longest, I didn't know we came, we did none of these things. I thought when he came, it was over. And then when the first time I got an orgasm, a real orgasm, I might have been mid-20s. And I was like, oh shit, we do something too?
Right.
So I say mid-20s. Now when I got serious about it, probably a couple years ago. A couple years ago, because I just like, nah, bro, you're not gonna shortchange it. So I feel like I started doing what
fucking change.
Yeah, I started doing like what dudes do. Like, I didn't finish.
Like,
I'm about to embarrass you, and I'm gonna do it in front of you. I'm gonna do it myself in front of you.
how it's supposed to really happen.
Like,
My experience was like Deshaun's in that, like, I was 16 in college, so the guys that I was with, that was a little older than me, and so I remember the first time that, like, I saw actual fireworks. I was like, oh, this is nice, this is different, but it was very early on in my sexual experience. But I think for me, like, because I was young and because there was a lot of, like, trying to shame me into doing things, I was very intentional about not feeling like a hoe. And to me, what that meant was having sex for me and not for the guy. And so because that was where I was at with it forever, that's kind of always been my experience. Okay. And I didn't have enough people around me that I was having these conversations with for me to know that what I was experiencing wasn't the norm. Okay. So I never really paid attention to it. Okay. Like, I do know that, like, I noticed a difference when I'm by myself versus when I'm with somebody else. And that came later. But in terms of like fucking for the sake of orgasm, I didn't know they didn't go together. That was not my experience. Shouts to those guys.
Yeah.
No shout outs to no.
Oh. Like, no shout outs. Take that back.
Me, I was a late bloomer. I had my first orgasm when I was 20. And
And that's not a late bloomer.
That's not a late bloomer.
Yeah, I want people to understand that as you can see, all ages, people experience it very early, you experience it very late, and it's a normal thing. So that doesn't make you a late bloomer.
Okay. And so my first experience was 20, and I felt like I exploded.
It's like you exploded.
But I didn't know that that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then I always thought that something was wrong because I don't get off from penetration. It's just strictly stimulated by my clitoris.
Okay.
So
what?
My clitoris.
Click.
From then, I've always been like a sensual person. So usually when I have sex, if it's not going in that direction, I'll kind of like swim away. But I took it serious at 20, and I was fortunate enough that a relationship I was in, they were down for that. So it was kind of like, you're a leader, stop. And now that I'm single, it's important that if you don't do it, I always put that up front because I will like you embarrass you. Or like,
you are a woman here, you
yeah.
I think I started taking orgasm seriously in about 27, 28, because I was involved in a long distance relationship, and so phone sex is very important. And if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? And so that is when it became just like, this is mandatory for everything across the board. And I think that even in that space, you kind of identify who you are, what you like, what you into, because it's all a mental game. Period. So now I know what we need to say. I know what the ambiance, I know what the conversation needs to be. So it's happening every time.
Yes. Oh man, good for you.
I had my first orgasm, I think I was like 22 or 23. I was like 22, 23 when I had my first orgasm. And it wasn't until I started my self-love journey, like when I started to love myself, that was when I put my foot down with these niggas. Like, I love myself way too much for you to just leave here, and I still got work to do. And that was how we last year. Last year is when I got serious about that.
Yes. Well, welcome to the motherfucking journey.
Yes.
Yes, girl.
Oh my God. I experienced an orgasm on my own, probably somewhere in high school. But as far as like with somebody else, let's see, it was my junior year in college. How old are you then? Like 20, 21-ish? And I was my cafeteria director. It was pretty great. It was, you know, a good nut and a free meal card. So that was pretty cool. He definitely had some kind of oral fetish, and I'd never been with anybody that had that before, and that was fun. And then after that, I probably didn't take it seriously again until 28, 29. David, if you're watching this.
Oh shit!
Yeah, let me tell you, this is a Caribbean man that ruined my life. We're friends now, and he is definitely the person that taught me to really take it seriously and have mercy.
Come back.
Everyone.
If you aren't married, David, come
Right.
And if you are, bring this.
But yeah, that's the one that taught me to really like take it seriously, like stand on the bed and cuss you out if it doesn't happen, type seriously.
Yes.
So yes, thank you for that, sir.
When I start making little random PSAs and I bring you on to do them, you know why?
Right.
I'm 48 years old. So believe it or not, I just got serious December of 2018.
Wow.
So after all these years, I realized that, and it's funny because going through Instagram, when I got my Instagram account and my daughter was like, no, don't get on Instagram. But I found like this whole entirely different world, and that's how I found you and other women who insist on saying, you know, no, I deserve to have an orgasm, you know, every single time. And then that's when I realized, you know what, I do deserve an orgasm every time I link up, you know, with somebody.
Right.
And so that's when I really got serious about it, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to sell it anymore. I'm not going to fake anymore. You know, I'm not going to just say, okay, well, it's all right, baby, you know, next time.
Right.
You know, that's when I really became serious. And I said, well, if you can't give me pleasure, like you said, we both trying to pleasure each other. I shouldn't allow you to treat me as your dumping ground, and then you just go on about your way. And I'm laying up here still hot, horny.
But like I said, you were in your late 40s when this happened.
I was 47.
Okay.
Yeah, 47. So that's when I finally realized it. And I was like, you know, I'm going to take this serious from now on and stop allowing men to just just take advantage of, you know, them having their pleasure and me not having mine and me selling for that.
Yes.
I had my first orgasm at, I guess somewhere around 22 to 23 years of age.
But is that when you felt like you knew what was happening with your body, so you took it seriously, you made sure we went forward?
No.
So that's the question.
Right. So
When
no.
did you take that seriously?
Then it took another 20 years.
Okay.
For
There's
me,
the-
yeah, so it took another 20 years for me to come to the realization that that was an orgasm or what it was. And then make the decision that it's important that every time I engage physically with someone, that's the end result.
I didn't have my first orgasm until I was 31. And then I was like, okay, bitch. Drug.
Right.
And that's when I took it serious. Even when it came like to masturbating, because I started masturbating very
We're gonna touch
young.
on that too.
So even with that, you know, masturbate, okay, good. Go ahead. But then it was like, no, bitch, we're about to get it in. Like, me, and me. Like, yeah. So I'm 31 when I had my first orgasm.
Piggybacking on what you said, I was very young when I started masturbating. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just knew something real across. I was like, oh, right. So, you know, I knew how an orgasm felt with myself, but it was kind of like because for the longest, I didn't know we came, we did none of these things. I thought when he came, it was over. And then the first time I got an orgasm, a real orgasm, I might have been mid-20s. And I was like, oh shit, we do something too?
Right.
So I said mid-20s. Now when I got serious about it, probably a couple years ago.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. Because I just like, nah, bro, you're not gonna shortchange me. So I feel like I started doing what dudes do. Yeah. I started doing like what dudes do. Like, I didn't finish.
Like,
I'm about to embarrass you and I'm gonna do it in front of you. I'm gonna do it myself in front of you.
how it's supposed to really happen.
Like, kind of,
My experience was like Deshaun's in that, like, I was 16 in college, so the guys that I was with, that was still a little older than me, and so I remember the first time that, like, I saw actual fireworks. I was like, oh, this is nice, this is different, but it was very early on in my sexual experience. But I think for me, like, because I was young and because there was a lot of, like, trying to shame me into doing things, I was very intentional about not feeling like a hoe. And to me, what that meant was having sex for me and not for the guy. And so because that was where I was at with it forever, that's kind of always been my experience. Okay. And I didn't have enough people around me that I was having these conversations with for me to know that what I was experiencing wasn't the norm. Okay. So I never really paid attention to it. Okay. Like, I do know that, like, I noticed a difference when I'm by myself versus when I'm with somebody else. And that came later. But in terms of like fucking for the sake of an orgasm, I didn't know they didn't go together. That was not my experience. Shouts to those guys.
Yeah.
No shout outs to no.
Oh.
No shout outs.
Take that back.
Me, I was a late bloomer. I had my first orgasm when I was 20.
And that's not a late bloomer.
That's not a late bloomer.
Yeah, I want people to understand that as you can see, all ages, people experience it very early and experience it very late. And it's a normal thing. So that doesn't make you a late bloomer.
Okay. And so my first experience was 20, and I felt like I exploded.
It's like you exploded.
But I didn't know that that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then I always thought that something was wrong because I don't get off from penetration. It's just strictly stimulated by my clitoris.
Okay.
So
what?
my clitoris.
Click.
From then, I've always been like a sensual person, so usually when I like have sex, if it's not going in that direction, I'm kind of like swim away. But I took it serious at 20, and I was fortunate enough that a relationship that I was in, they were down for that. So it was kind of like, you're a leader, stop. and now that I'm single, it's important that if you don't do it, I always put that up front because I will like you to go to sleep. Or like,
You are a woman here, you
yeah.
I think I started taking orgasm seriously in about 27, 28, because I was involved in a long distance relationship, and so phone sex is very important. And if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? And so that is when it became just like, this is mandatory for everything across the board. And I think that even in that space, you kind of identify who you are, what you like, what you into, because it's all a mental game.
Well, so as we can see, orgasms and our relationship with them come at very different times. And I felt like we couldn't talk about orgasms and not talk about masturbation. Because masturbation, although many of us have been playing with ourselves at a very, very early age, many of us didn't know what we were doing. Because I know for me, I may have been rubbing my stuff on a pillow, a teddy bear. You know, once I did start masturbating, even with a toy, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that, okay, I thought I liked this feeling. I'm trying to get to some point. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I'm going to keep trying. And so it's important for me to bring women in to talk about this, because a lot of women are not even exploring their bodies. A lot of women don't realize that because they don't know their bodies, then they don't know how to teach someone else to give them what they need sexually. Because how can you explain to a man how to give you an orgasm if you have never given yourself one? If you have never taken the time to figure out what orgasm can you have? Because there are literally 15 different types of orgasms that women can have. But some only know about clitoral and through penetration, but you don't know you can orgasm through nipple play, through just somebody speaking to you, through anal, but there are women who have never experienced them at all. So one thing that I want us to talk about today is at what point did you, when it comes to orgasms, masturbation, when did it change for you? When did that process of, okay, I'm no longer playing with, we all own pussies here, right? Because now I've learned that you can't just assume that everybody owns
No, you can't
a
have.
vagina. And so as I enter into this industry, I am making sure that I am choosing the right language and that I'm not assuming that everybody is a pussy owner by her. Seriously, because this is dead true. It's really serious. So what I want to know, and we're going to start on this side, is how has masturbation changed for you over the years? So my Girl 6 operator, I'm going to start with you. Okay. And let us know how that changed for you over the years, masturbation and self-pleasure.
When it first started, I said before, I was in high school, because I work in the spa industry, and I've always kind of shown an interest in it, and my mom and her friends and stuff like that would always gift me with like massage oil kits from like Bath and Body Works and things like that, and somebody gave me a kit that had like one of those vibrating back massagers in it. Ooh, changed my life. So I was like, oh, this works in different places, and it wasn't until like much later I realized that there were vibrators specifically for that. But when it first started, it was just like this household object in a kit that was supposed to go between your deltoids. So as I got older, it was just all finger action, and then I just discovered toys. Well, I won't say I just discovered them, but I just started using them as of late. But you know, it was machine, hand, back to machines.
So I started with a vibrator, and I guess
That was was the first, that was how you started?
Oh, like,
How did it change? The question is, how did masturbation change for you over the years? Because,
well, my first encounter, it was my mother's back massager. I found it by accident.
Yes.
I found it by accident. But that's how I started.
Okay.
And so I used vibrators most of my life. And then I discovered the faucet on my bathtub. So now I fill the tub first because I like to have the water kind of, yeah. I don't know, something
You almost
about
like to be drowned.
not drowning, like
It's sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
That's what it is. All your other senses are kind of numbed out, and so it heightens that other.
That's the truth.
it's the feeling of having my body in the water. So I put up a little bit.
Okay.
Then you scooch all the way to that
And
faucet.
then I scooch to the end and I turn hot and cold full blast so I get all that pressure. And it's great because it's like an orgasm and it's our cleanup. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay. Yeah. Come on.
I didn't start masturbating until late, so I don't think that it evolved. You know what I'm saying?
So you're still exploring that.
I'm still exploring, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this question.
No, that's okay because you're still exploring it and we got it.
My first experience was with the shower head.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you.
I don't know how I even got on that. I don't know if I heard a conversation or one day I just pulled it up and was like, hello. So from there I evolved until the bullet. And that today still is my personal preference. And exploring masturbation helped me to give direction. Because I'm like, circles, keep the change. And it really does. Some people don't, but it helped me to give direction better.
So a guy that I liked was supposed to come see me and miss 3 dick appointments and gifted me a toy. That's how I got my
Wait
first
a
one.
minute. Whoa.
I know, and I never saw him again. That's the funny thing.
Dang, so how do you get mad? Because you're like, damn.
Who was that? Sis, I was hiding in my closet every day before work for like a month until I was like, look, we gotta get this thing off. Because it was a bullet. And it was cheap, it died because, I'm well hydrated. It didn't last. But I didn't know. And that's the thing, that's a very interesting thing as we're sitting here having this conversation. I was quote unquote fast or whatever, but I didn't have, my sister's an OB. My sister worked at the clinic at her college or whatever. We never had these conversations. I never had these conversations with anybody. But he gave me that bullet. The bullet died. I replaced it. My house got broken into, and they stole my toy. They stole my toy and my cigarettes. It's so you gonna stress me out. Cool. That's some whole shit for real.
Yeah.
And so I never replaced it. No. But yeah, actually, yeah. Right.
A used
A used
and the
toy.
cigarette. Oh, you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. She gonna make her mad.
So you can't even go to
And the person that set me up to get robbed was the person I was sleeping with at the time, so all my options are gone at once.
That's a whole new story.
Cool. Right. Yes, indeed. But so I never replaced that one or whatever, and then I worked for somebody who launched a line of toys, and I got a free toy, and we've been getting along since. I don't know, it's very utilitarian for me, and maybe I just haven't had I've had great, amazing, I'm glad nobody else is here because I don't have to deal with nobody because I wouldn't want to experiences, but it's not I'm not, it's not the top of the list for me. I did just recently discover the shower head stuff. The manual shower in somebody's hotel.
Still exploring. That's
But,
awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah. But I think I'm you know what I mean? I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Right.
I don't feel like I want to go
Until something else.
until something happens. Maybe somebody else will give me, they've all been gifts.
Welcome to the
I've been masturbating since I was 12. And it kind of happened on accident the first couple times. I think I had on some days it was and that piece of
Rubbing
denim.
Bitch. Tell me.
Yes.
Like I actually thrift like old school Levi's because that piece of denim.
It's so
One of
thick.
my kids, that's a little.
Yeah.
What?
Go get, you gonna wear them tomorrow?
I mean, I have one too.
But the evolution of it, it's been amazing. Learning myself. I've discovered the tub as well, and not the faucet, just being in the water part. And yeah, turn on a good piece of porn, and me and Nana go to town. Nana. Because at the end, that's what I'm saying. No. So, but it's for me. I'm not a toy person. These hands are, they work wonders. So, young and me. So I stick with what works for me.
So that's the thing that kills me is like I cannot figure out which porn works for me. I think I finally figured it out, but I end up analyzing and trying to figure out why the setting is what it is and why the lighting is what it is. And then I get distracted.
Skips has all that.
Then I get distracted and then I'm like, fuck all this. I don't even want to do this anymore. I'm just going to go to sleep.
I started masturbating very early, like single digits. And I just always liked it. And then I think someone gave me a toy, so I started with toys, but it was always like penetration. And that never really it wasn't really doing it, but I still enjoyed it. And then it became a problem, so I was like, I'm in the car masturbating like several times a day. Like I love to masturbate. But then after I had my first orgasm, it like completely changed. Like now, I'm having sex with myself, like a full experience. Like, bitch, take a bath, put on some, it's a full, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get ready to masturbate like I'm getting ready for a man. Like,
That's
like it's a full experience. And now I don't want any type of penetration. It's all like clitoral, my nipples. It's just amazing. Like, a bitch will blow out. A bitch be tired after
She does have purpose.
Why you didn't tell me?
She wore out.
Okay, I started masturbating in middle school, and it was my mother's back massager.
Shout out to the mommies back in the day.
Somebody cringes. The mama's cringing.
And I'm not quite sure how it got to my vagina area, but it got there. And after putting it there, I realized that it made me feel some sort of way, and I introduced it to my cousin. Shout out to Mia.
Share the love.
Sharing the
Literally. Obstetrician, gynecologist,
So both of y'all vagina.
in vitro fertilization specialist.
First of all, she did not. No, I'm just kidding.
I did that. And then in high school, it moved to the shower head. And I'm not quite sure how that happened either, but it happened. And that was enjoyable. And then once I became a young woman in college, it moved to my hands. These hands put in work. And that's the progression.
And that's where you are today.
Yeah, that's where I'm at today. I'm not really into this mechanical stuff. My hands work just fine. They make me happy.
Sometimes a little zzz.
Right.
Girl.
Oh wait, I did have an evolution. I randomly was on a trip the other day and like I didn't want to pack nothing because I didn't want to be, like I'm an immigrant, I didn't want to be at TSA because no, for real. I didn't want to be at immigration because my luggage was vibrating, right? So I was sitting in my room and I was like, there's an app for everything. There's an app for that.
An app for
Yeah, we'll have to
share that.
To turn your phone into a vibrator.
Oh, wow.
It's a massager app.
We'll share that with us later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Girl, they can walk.
My turn. Okay.
But she's all in.
Okay, so let's see. My evolution is all of y'all. I've done like everything. You know, it started when I was in high school. The blue jean thing, where I would be sitting in class and have my legs crossed, and that little piece of blue, that little strip of that hard piece of blue.
They're hard to on the pants.
Yes, and And I'm sitting there like,
Just like that.
eyes just rolling back. I was like, my favorite throw pillow at the house. I was humping my throw pillow like a lot. And that did a little something for me. It evolved from that to, I think that's when I was using my hands. I was using my hands, right? I said, oh, okay, this is cool. And then one day I was watching Weird Story. I was watching Married with Children. Who knows Married with Children?
Was it the 4th of July episode where Peggy kept disappearing?
Yes. Oh my God. And she mentioned something about the shower head, right? And I was like, what's she talking about with the shower head? So I immediately go take a shower, right? I'm like, I was like, oh, okay, I see what she's talking about. So I'm like getting this huge orgasm. I'm like, oh, this is the shit. So shower time was fun time for me, okay, for a while. So I did that, and I evolved from, well, I still do the shower head now, but I evolved from that to, I had a back massager, used that. I've never bought a toy, mind you. I haven't bought a toy. I've got like a small little bullet. But now I'm into, my evolution is what this young lady is talking about. I take the shower, I get my smell good lotions, and I move, I turn the lights down, I got like music, got my wine, and now I'm trying to squirt. So that's my evolution. Now I want to squirt, so I've done the hands, the vibrators and all that. So now I'm evolving to, let me teach myself how to squirt.
Okay, awesome. Deshaun?
Keep it short and sweet. I like my hands. I've never really been a person for toys, so my hand has always been, I've just learned how to work them really well over the years. But I'm like you, I have to have like a whole mood. Like it's gotta be dark, I gotta put my music on, use some old school key sweats and shit like that. Yes, and then I get down. But then don't bother me, don't nobody call me. Like I be tired. Like she's like, Jason, I be tired. Like, yeah, I go to bed. Why should I?
You relax.
That's nice.
I love it. I love everybody's journey into self-pleasure, and welcome to toys, because I know for me, the first toy that I've ever played with was a dildo. And I just got it because I felt like that was what I was supposed to get. And although I come from penetration, I come from several different ways, but I wasn't getting it through that dildo. And so now I am into a toy, and this is going to lead me into shouting out my sponsors, because sponsors make the world go round. But I have a toy called A Girl's Best Friend from Sweet Vibrations, which is one of my sponsors. And it is a clit sucker, basically.
Speak on it.
Let us know, friend.
Right. Speak on it.
I don't really know how to explain it. I don't, but I don't know the words to explain what this toy does. But when I say
it's such a clip.
What?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
About to make their stock go.
Anyway, so I want to really quickly shout out my sponsors, because like I said, sponsors make everything happen. And I have some amazing sponsors who are actually here in the building with me today, and then some sponsors who couldn't be here, but they contributed to my swag bag. So one that's here today is, she has a very bold statement apparel line. Her name is Tiffany. We all know who that is. And she has a line called CAA Customs, and you can find her on Instagram. She's amazing. She actually is a sponsor of my entire brand. So yes, she's a shit. One that couldn't be here today, Vulva Care, but she did contribute to the swag bags, and she is all about vegan feminine skin, feminine care, and it's Vulva Care. I'll make sure to list all of their information in the description section of this video. Sweet Vibrations, who gave us some amazing toys for you ladies to go home with. What? Oh my God, good. Y'all know I don't have stuff when it comes. Listen, Another silent sponsor, I guess you can say, Sex and CBD. She has an erotic CBD line specializing in vulva care infused with some CBD. Astroglide also sent us some lube and everything for you guys who want to explore anal pleasure. ARC Southeast, they're a reproductive care organization here in Atlanta, and it's amazing because they're all about reproductive care. And I've met most of the people that are on their team, and they're all beautiful black women. So you guys make sure y'all check them out. PPSC Advocates is an affiliate of Planned Parenthood. And so you guys know what Planned Parenthood is all about. Bed Geek is another adult toy line who also sent us some toys for tonight. So those are my sponsors. Like I said, sponsors really make the rub around because, you know, they brought us some beautiful things. So not before, I want to get into a very serious topic. All right, so this next topic, I wanted to sort of get into something even more serious than masturbation and orgasms. I wanted to talk about consent. And the reason why I felt like this was a necessary conversation is because, not just because of the Me Too movement and everything that's happening now, but I realized that there is some sort of divide between monogamous relationships and non-monogamous, and when it comes to consent. And I've heard people say that when you are in a relationship, consent is implied. And I sort of have an issue with that because, and this is a very personal experience that I am still learning to deal with and being able to admit it to people, what the experience is, because I feel like I was in love with this guy, we were together, so he just wanted to have sex. I may have not been ready, but it was my boyfriend. And so it was several years ago, we were like out of town, and I remember like it was yesterday, I was upset at him because of things that happened over the weekend. And I remember laying on the bed, and I wasn't aroused, I was in no way, shape, or form ready to have sex at all. And I remember him coming into the room and pulling my pants down and proceeding to have sex with me. And I didn't stop him, I didn't say no, but I remember going to the bathroom after and wiping myself and there being blood there. And when it happened, of course I didn't think anything of it, because I'm thinking, you know, my boyfriend, whatever, you know, just wanted to have sex. But later on, now in my life, when I'm really reevaluating my sexual relationships, I realized that that was something, and I still struggle with saying the R word. That's what it was. Yeah. I really still struggle with that. Like, I can barely even say it now, but that's what it was. And so I wanted to get you guys' opinions on consent in a relationship and how you handle consent while you're just dating. Because we can't assume that just because you're my man that you can come in the house and take it anytime you want. As much as you may turn me on, as much as I love you, you know, that dick is fucking amazing, but you can't just assume that you can walk in the door and take it when you want to. So I want to get you guys' opinions on consent in both a monogamous and non-monogamous relationship and where you guys are with that and how do we effectively communicate that without it being something that seems like it will change the mood. You understand what I'm saying? So
it's going to change the mood.
It will, but there's got to be some sort of way.
But when you say change the mood, do you mean to change the mood overall of the relationship or change the mood at that moment?
So this is what I've heard. And this particular, bell thing is hitting me. But this particular conversation, we don't have to necessarily go, you go. Let's just kind of chime in and everybody kind of get their opinion. But what I mean as far as changing mood, I've heard women say and men say, oh, when I'm feeling it, I don't want to be like, hey babe, you feel like having sex? Because then that changes the mood. So, go ahead.
I think it boils down to knowing your partner. And that's whether you're in a committed relationship or not.
Yeah, but see,
if you know your partner, then you know when they want sex. However, as women, we cannot be afraid to say no. Because at the end of whose pussy is it? Mine. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you it's mine. I'm in control. Do we have sex? Yeah, but that don't mean I'm gonna have sex with you every single time. And when you take it without having permission, whether it be verbal permission, whether it be body language, whether it be whatever, then it's rape. Period. Whether you're in a relationship or not.
And I think that's the part that gets a lot of people hung up on, is like the idea that like consent has to be very specific. Hello, partner. I would like to copulate at this moment. Let us, retire to the boudoir. No, like it doesn't have to be all that. If you touch my arm and I'm like, chill, not right now, or I don't feel it, like it doesn't have to be an explicit like, would you like to have sex with me? Circle yes or no. However, when that no is given, however it is given, and I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm sorry that you didn't feel like you couldn't say no. And I've been in a situation where I also didn't feel like I couldn't say no because I was there, because I came over and knew but like Jada said, like we have to be able. I think that the part of the conversation and consent that we're missing as just like in general as a society, we have to empower our daughters to say no. We have to teach our sons not to be raped.
And to say no and mean it, because I've said no many a time. And I don't know if because the guy may have thought like, oh, come on, like you don't mean it. Or maybe I was not being firm enough in my no's.
Right.
That it wasn't believable. But we have to make sure that in that no, we're standing up, not still laying in the bed, legs kind of open, clothes kind of off, but that we mean that no, because
see, we had that conversation today too about how like there are a lot of people who make it more difficult for victims. Like I don't know if you guys remember the story about Aziz Ansari and that girl. She went over. Like sis, you went over there. He went down on you. You didn't want more. Like it happens. I've been there. I've blessed with a couple head monsters that did what they came. I wanted them to do, and then I got up and said, "All right, you remember how to go home, or I'm about to go or whatever." But shout out to those guys. That was me. But like, you stayed, which is fine. You stayed naked, which is not okay.
Right.
And I think that we have to give ourselves room to be able to say that to our daughters. And that's not victim shaming. Like you stayed at a man's, you didn't feel comfortable. You didn't want to have sex with him. You stayed at his house naked. But then, the standing firm on our nose is where teaching our sons not to be rapey is important. Like if she said no,
even if she was just playing, get away.
Until she says,
take that no serious. Matter of fact, put her out. Tell her she got to go. And you be okay with that. Everybody needs to be okay with the decisions they're making. And I find that people don't stand firm on their nose, or guys trying to talk you into it still because you're not accepting what I'm saying, and I'm not sure of what I'm saying. I feel like standing firm on it in both parties. If that means for him you gotta go, then you need to be okay with that, and there shouldn't be no repercussions for that. I have two brothers, and so I get to see like both sides of this kind of play out. And on the one side, like you said, there's a lot of people play pimping and all that other kind of stuff. And then on the same flip side of that, when they make the assertion to protect themselves, because my brothers will tell you, my mama taught them, if a girl say no, put out your house, and it just is what it is out there. You can't be upset with that either. Because he don't have to, nothing except respect your no.
I think for women it comes from a place of rejection. Like you don't want to give them any reason to not want you after that.
Exactly.
So we say no, and a lot of times we mean no, but in the back of our head, we're like, if I say no, what? So we have to get to a point where we're secure in our nose. Like we're firm in our nose, but we have to get secure. Like if I don't want to do it, bitch, you don't have to do it.
Even if that's your man.
Right. And if that's what causes
my
me to break up with you.
with my boyfriend is, you can tell by the way I come to bed. I'm old school. If I come to bed with some leggings on and a tank top, bitch, don't touch it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't sleep like that. So you already know. I don't have to say, babe, not tonight. You already know. We can cuddle. We can gaze in each other's eyes.
I'll say this because I think in my years of having sex, when I'm single and in a non-monogamous situation, I never had an issue with saying no. Very, very few times where it was a no and then I end up having sex, but I guess in the back of my mind I wanted it. But usually my no is no, and it's a firm no, and I'm gonna let you know, okay, you know what, I'm good, I'm good. And I'll get up and leave. Because like you said,
I get up and go.
it's like, I know he's going to eventually try to,
Yeah, you gonna keep
he's going to try.
Push that no.
Right, he's going to push that no. So I'm like, you know what?
And I'm not
I'm going to get up and leave. But now in a relationship, I realized that I did have an issue with, it was like, okay, I'm laying, because I sleep naked.
But you can put yours in the next to mine. This is mine is in a bag, so we'll know whose it is.
That's for you. So that was everybody that was on my thing that got a bag. You got it? I'm sorry.
No, because we have to be out of this.